Welcome inside the coach's office. We've got a special episode for you today as we welcome in head coach of the men's basketball team at Milligan College, soon to be Milligan University, Coach Bill Robinson, and from AM 640 WXSM, the sports monster, friend of the pod, Mr. Bobby Rader joins us as well. All this and more on a special episode.
And it starts now.
The following is a special presentation of the coach's office.
I never punt on Madden.
Go Knowles.
I don't even know what roll tide means.
I mean, let them in. What is there to lose? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Glad to have you in here. Why was everyone so concerned with the outfield play for the movie to be called Angels in the Outfield?
Where'd you get your shirt? Foot Locker? Uh-oh. Murphy's call.
And now your hosts, Kyle Donahue and Matt Ripley.
How's it? Welcome back inside the coach's office. My name is Kyle Donahue alongside Matt Ripley. Today we have some good guests, including from 640 WXSM, the sports monster, Bobby Rader. Good to have you, Bobby. Matt, how's it going today?
Hey, we're doing good, Bobby. Thanks for being here. East Tennessee's own, and might I add, and I've got to add this, alumni of the Chucky Doke Black Knights.
Wow. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, we're getting by. Bobby, as a sports fan, how you handling all this, man? I mean, the sports have been taken from us.
Well, it's a little odd because it's something I do every day. And since you need to prepare a 4-hour radio show each day, when you could kind of see this coming, and when the NBA closed down shop, it was pretty apparent to everyone that it was going to happen pretty quickly. And so I began making some preparations. What are we going to do? How are we going to fill 4 hours a day? And so you kind of have to think outside the box a little bit. It's kind of like teaching. You have to kind of think outside the box. And actually, thank you to the NFL. Thank you, Tom Brady. It's been pretty solid here the last couple of weeks. We'll see how it goes. If it's all the same to you guys, I'd rather not go into August and September.
Yeah.
But it's worked out pretty well so far because obviously, although we're a sports station and right down the hall, QUT is the classic rock station, and right beside us is our news talk station. What we're there for is to keep the public informed of what's going on. So while we keep that in our minds and we mention what needs to be done to get us all out of this jam, we also keep in mind that people want to be entertained at this time. And we feel like we've been able to do that with some, again, thinking outside the box a little bit, and so far so good.
Yeah, I mean we gotta now. You mentioned Tom Brady, Kyle. He's a Buccaneers fan, so
We're going to try and sneak that in every show. Go Bucs.
Wow.
Before Tommy got there, he was a Bucs fan. We have to make sure everybody knows that.
Right.
I'm going to formally apologize to Tom Brady because I've hated him for so long. But now that he's with the Bucs, let's go win. Let's go win the Super Bowl.
Isn't Josh Arwood a Bucs fan too?
I don't know.
I think he is. There may be more of us here.
There's
more of you there. See, I haven't decided whether I'm going to abandon the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
Go Bucs.
That's right.
What I'm going to do.
So are you a Tom Brady fan or a Pats fan? That's the kind of question I think people are throwing out there with the Bills.
I thought I was a Patriots fan. I may have been living a double life and just didn't know it.
It puts me in a tough spot. I'm a Falcons fan, so the Bucs can't win too much. You can.
He's only there for 2 years. Come on. He's only there for 2 years. Who knows past that? But we know two guaranteed. Go Bucs. Well, you talked about your sports monster. So on a regional level, how has sports being put on hold kind of affected? I guess you kind of talked about that, but what are you guys trying to do on your 4 hours of the sports monster?
Someone asked me right after it happened. He said, "Well, are you going to get laid off?" And I said, no, I don't. I'm under contract, so hey, whatever. But look, if someone told us that they don't have anything to talk about during this time, it probably means they're not doing the preparation they need to do what they need to do in the business. So we've been really fortunate. Obviously, as we talk about with the NFL, there's always someone to talk to, and we're a Titans affiliate, so there's Mike Keith, and he can talk NFL for an hour. Charles Davis, NFL Network, former Tennessee player. We've had him on. We've talked to the guys that are handling the draft because really that's going to be the next, except for what NASCAR is doing, that's going to be your next live sport, it looks like. Went out to Vegas and talked to our friend out there because think about it. no sports going on. What are you doing in Vegas right now?
Yeah,
And so we've just been able to bounce. And the funny thing is, not funny, but the interesting thing is every interview we've had, whether it's been about the NFL or Tennessee or ETSU or whatever's going on here the last couple of weeks, it always comes back to, and I've tried to do this purposely, how are things in your area? How are you folks doing? How's your family and all that? And that just opens up a lot of discussion. So filling time has not been a problem. It's just it's different when you don't have the scores there to talk about in the games. But I kind of took it as a challenge. And so far, like I said, so far so good.
Well, that's awesome. I think, and even talking regionally, and you might be able to speak on this, March Madness just being completely taken away from us. No compromise in there. And so, of course, everybody's been watching this run by ETSU men's basketball team. How do you think that affects, that men's basketball team, that program? I mean, how do you feel about that when all that came out?
It was pretty assumed, and they were playing well late in the season. This team could win a game or two in the NCAA tournament. And so at 30-4, you win the SoCon regular season, you win the tournament. You're assured that you're going to the NCAA tournament because there was going to be that week had they lost that championship game. All we're going to talk about that week is, will they make it? Will they make it? No one ever has as a two-bid league in the SoCon. So there was going to be that question, even though they were in 30-4. Well, so they took care of that business and won the tournament. No problem. Oh, yeah, we got a problem. Yeah, Houston, we've got a problem. And so Coach Forbes, who is great to talk to, if you guys ever get a chance, talk to Coach Forbes.
We'd love to.
And so he spoke to his team and gave them – here's what it was even before it was canceled, even before the NCAA tournament was canceled. He spoke to his team and gave them about 3 scenarios of what could happen. And he was driving home and he found out the tournament had been canceled. That wasn't one of the scenarios he gave them. So they've just basically, like everyone else, and I guess that's another thing that we're all dealing with, whether it's local or regionally or nationally, we're all in the same boat. Everyone's in uncharted waters. And it's just how you handle this. And they handled it well, as best you could. And it's sad for these seniors because I don't think next week that they're going to give them an extra year of eligibility. I think they probably will the spring sports athletes because they had just basically got started. Mm-hmm. But as far as those players, all of a sudden their season, and for some, their career is over. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but again, everyone had to adjust. And so that's kind of where it is. It's tough, especially when you had a team. This is the best team they've had since the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And he's already started recruiting and getting the team lined up for next year. And so we'll see what happens. He could, he could have the same team back next year. He won't, and they might not go 30-4. So you miss that opportunity, you get ready for next year, and you move on.
Yeah, it's especially for us locally, regionally, to put your eggs in the ETSU basket and watch them maybe make a run. I think that would have been really cool for East Tennessee, and then we kind of – I think a lot of people are thinking we got robbed of that. It's kind of that thing of loss where, they could have beat somebody or they could have, went to the Final Four. Who knows? But it was a tough team that they would have made a splash, I assume.
Yeah, I don't think anyone doubted this was a really good team and a team that could have made a run in the NCAA tournament, especially a year when there was really no decided team. What were there, 8 number one teams this year at one time or the other?
Yeah, it was open.
Yeah, I think it was.
All right, let me see. I've lost my list here. What kind of impact do you think this could be on recruiting? This and spring sports and all this that's going on. We talked going into the summer. What kind of impact can you see this having on just the encompassing sports?
Well, coaches are still allowed to talk to recruits. As a matter of fact, Coach Forbes has signed one since all this began, where he's gotten a solid commit from one. And coaches are still recruiting on the phone, on Skype, on Zoom, wherever they are, and they're able to talk to the athletes. But it's just that face-to-face, come in, you visit our campus. You can't do that. You can't have folks on campus right now. And so really you're having to go, if you're a coach, on what you know about the player so far. And that's difficult. And as far as even these teams, like the teams right now, everyone's supposed to be in spring practice pretty much. Well, let's go at the college level first. A few of them had finished spring practice. Many had not. Many hadn't even started yet. So is that an unfair advantage next season? I think when it all comes down, I think what you're going to see both at the collegiate level and the pro level is the teams that are probably the most solid, the ones that have the most veterans, the ones that kind of been there and done that. They may have a leg up on the others. It's going to be tough for Tom Brady to get started with his new Tampa teammates, even though he does have some downfield receivers now. It's going to be tough for them to get together. They can't right now. So it's going to be tougher for some teams. It might be tougher this year for teams with new coaches, because with new head coaches comes new coordinators, new schemes. And so it's going to be difficult on teams that maybe aren't established as much as the others. So that means probably the established teams of the world, and you know who they are, probably will dominate at least early, because they've got veteran teams. They know what to do even when they're not at the facility. And we don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah, Florida State having a new coach. Not only are they getting knocked off on recruiting, they've got a tough, early signing day because they have a new coach. Now they add on the fact that they've only had 3 spring practices. Yeah, it's going to be – I don't know what to expect. Maybe they'll give everybody an equal number. If you've already had your spring, you've already done it. Maybe they'll add on at summer. But it's definitely going to have an advantage for people that are solid and that have their core coaching staff together.
Yeah, I mean, even no matter when the virus itself goes away and we can get back to some sort of normalcy. And believe me, I'm at Food City today. There is no normalcy right now.
No.
Even when we get back to some sort of normalcy, it's going to take a while to just transition back into an actual sports year. I mean, look at it. Baseball is supposed to be starting. The NBA is supposed to be getting into the playoffs. The NHL is winding down their season. And none of this is going on right now. I mean, if you're a sports junkie, when somebody gives us the green light, first person that says, oh, man, there's just too much sports, I'm just going
to overload. Yeah, they need to keep their mouth shut.
That's right.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Well, Bobby, we appreciate you being on. We appreciate everything you do, being a friend of the pod, and good luck going forward to the Sports Monster, and maybe we'll get to see each other again.
Likewise. I appreciate it, guys. Have a great day.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and we'll be back right after this.
My name is Kyle Donahue, along with Matt Ripley. We've got Coach Bill Robinson of the Milligan University coming up this summer, Milligan University Buffaloes. How's it going, Coach?
It's going great, guys. How are you?
Glad to have you, Coach. Thank you for being on here.
Hey,
so, Coach,
appreciate it very much.
Coach, kind of give us a timeline of the shutdown. Here we are in the quarantine edition of the pod. What kind of happened at Milligan? How did it work itself out at Milligan?
The timing probably is the best for me, being a basketball coach. We kind of got news and kind of knew something was coming up, but we were going to spring break. So nothing really happened until the kids were already gone. We were still doing individual lessons with kids, and the campus was still kind of moving forward and acting as normal as possible. And then I want to say every day it seemed like something changed, where it was okay to have some people on campus but not gather. Then it was, you can have 1 or 2 people out. You can go to your office, and then all of a sudden it was everything got shut down as quickly as possible. And actually one of our kids, a Russian kid, Sasha Koikov, went to the Dominican Republic for spring break and was not allowed back in the country.
Oh, wow.
So he leaves for spring break thinking, oh, it's fine. I'll just go spend a week, have fun at the beach, and then fly back to campus. And he had to change his whole plans to get rerouted back to Russia. So things happen very, very quickly around campus.
Now, did this change things for you, your basketball program-wise? Do things look any different right now, how maybe they would be if under normal circumstances?
I think the biggest thing is this is a really important time of year for us in the weight room and with just player development type stuff. So where we would be doing individual workouts with guys and really trying to hit the weight room, 3 or 4 times a week and really trying to improve our strength, we can't do that at all. And we can send out some information, but even the guys, most of them are having a hard time finding a gym to work out in. So it might be back down to, the old high school push-ups, sit-ups in your bedroom kind of type activities. And most of them can't even get shots up unless it's in the driveway. So we'll be patient with that and just kind of wait till we get clearance to be able to get the kids back on campus again. But I'm not even allowed in my office right now, which is not a bad thing as I sit on my front porch and do my business from home. But from a recruiting perspective, all the guys that we really want have been on campus and we've offered. Now it's just the process of them getting accepted and making their decisions. And if things happen the way we think they'll happen, I think we should be fine. We've already signed 5 and we've offered 5 more. And if we get 2 or 3 of those, the remaining 5 guys, we should be at least continue the success we've had in the last couple of years.
Yeah, awesome. So you talked about it being like a crazy time, day by day change. Did you have any like team meetings? Did you kind of talk to the guys and tell them, or was there no time for that? Or
they were already gone. It all happened when they were on spring break.
Wow.
So a couple guys were close by, some local kids, and our kid from Houston actually stayed over break, and he's still here. He didn't get to go home. He's actually staying with one of our other players in Unicoi. So it's been really weird because we haven't had postseason meetings. We haven't determined who is and who's not coming back. Those type of things that we would normally do this time of year, we had to do over the phone or over text even. And that's kind of awkward. You want to sit down face to face and look a kid in the eye and really get a feel for what they're feeling. But our program's at a pretty good spot right now. It's pretty solid. And we had a couple kids leave because of finances, but our varsity guys are all coming back and we feel pretty good about the future.
Do you guys have like a timetable on when you're hoping to kind of get things going again?
We'd love to have everything back. You'd be able to get back at least in the office in the next couple of weeks. And campus has already been shut down for now. Can't get on campus, but classes are going to, like my daughters are both in school now. They both had classes today online. I would love my middle child is a senior. I would really wish they could have done something with graduation, but even graduation's been canceled. Which is disappointing after being in a program like engineering. She's done so much work. To be able to get that degree is awesome, but not to be able to walk is just going to be kind of disappointing.
So are you guys in AIA kind of like NCAA where they have a dead period now? Are you guys kind of in that kind of situation, or are you allowed to talk freely with recruits, or kind of how's that going?
That's the great thing about the NAI is we don't have any rules.
I thought so.
I won't say no rules, but we don't have any live or dead periods. We can talk to kids. So pretty much every night been trying to keep in touch with those 5 or 6 kids that we're really interested in right now, trying to keep those communication lines open. Most of them are transfers right now that we're dealing with. And with 7 guys graduating this year, we need guys who come in and play right away, thus the grad transfers. And then we've got a couple other transfers we're talking to. So the biggest difficulty now with everything going on is just getting transcripts, to have people in offices that can send stuff here and even our admissions counselors to get them to be able to handle situations like that. We had a kid that went to committee last week. We're still waiting for an answer. It's taken a whole week just to get an answer, which is kind of ironic because our director of admissions lives about 5 houses down the street. She literally lives at the bottom of the hill. And I haven't gone and knocked on her door yet, but it's nice to at least be able to do that if I need to.
It's getting there.
Those are the biggest challenges right now, just getting the paperwork in, getting everything accepted so we can actually make an offer. We had to turn in our contract offers for next year, turned all our numbers in on Monday. It's all printed out. The contracts are waiting, but I can't get them. They're in the office. So once those kids – and I have to mail them all out instead of having the kids come to the office to sign. So little things like that will just take – it's like we're back to old school again. And having to use regular mail, and it's just something we haven't had to deal with.
Being the head coach of your program, do you have anybody, any kids reaching out to you trying to get some guidance through all this? I mean, what approach are you trying to take to make sure your program gets through this as best as you can?
It's all new territory, so I think there's a lot of people just sitting around just wondering what's going to happen. And we've got some guys local that want to get in the gym. They're not even allowed in the gym. Not allowed in the weight room. So what we're telling them is just be patient. Hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll be able to get back to normal. Even if they're doing online classes, we can open up the gym at night. We can open up the weight room at night. That's kind of what we're hoping for. Best case scenario, that's what we're hoping for. This area has not been hit very hard yet, and we thank the Lord for that. And hopefully we don't have to deal with, the cases that they're dealing with. And I just got off the phone with a coach of mine, buddy of mine outside of Georgia. And with everything going on in Atlanta right now, he's scared to death it's going to come up closer to them. But New York's really bad. My mom's in Jersey. I'm worried about her. But hopefully things can just stay calm. If we can just be smart enough to just stay home for a couple weeks, hopefully we can get back to normal.
It's helping people stay in, just relax and listen and watch, So what do you see for your program going, this summer and beyond, going into next year? How's this going to impact that or reflect some sort of change in that?
I'm worried about camp. We do a great camp. We do 4 weeks of camp, 2 on campus, 1 in Gray, 1 in Kingsport, do 2 weeks in Carolina. I've done for about 15 years, done a camp up in New Hampshire. So I love camp. And I think that's the biggest effect on me personally. The other thing that does was the big thing about camps for us is that we bring all especially the new guys, come and work camp. So then they get a chance to know the guys. They get a chance to know the area. They get to know campus. They get to know where to get their oil changed and where to get their dry cleaning done and where the best burgers are. And then when they come back in the fall, they feel like they've already been here. And that's, I think, the biggest negative for us right now is I don't want to miss that time. So I'm hopeful that we can at least do our camps, still get those guys on campus, and then we get this. It's a chemistry thing. And we want that to be part of our program where the guys feel more comfortable and it's a family. We want them feeling like they're part of our family from the day they step on campus.
Great, Coach. Well, we appreciate you being on, and we appreciate everything you're doing. And hopefully this won't last too long, and you'll be able to get those kids back in the gym and get your program right back on track where it's supposed to be.
I hope so, too. It's nice having my son as my assistant. He lives 1.5 miles away. He just walks over, and we can have staff meetings daily, just sitting around the kitchen table hanging out. So there are some advantages of being a small college and small town.
I'm sure Mama likes that too, huh?
She's very happy to have all the kids around. Very happy.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Coach. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this. He's Matt Ripley. I'm Kyle Donahue. Thanks for tuning in. Next time, for your last one out, turn off the lights and lock up the gate.
This has been a presentation of the Coach's Office, produced by Quotable Productions.